Let me just touch on South Carolina just a little bit. You'll see very quickly we are one of the smaller states, with 40th largest state by land, probably the smallest state outside of New England area. So some of our numbers will probably reflect that. Like the others that you'll see around the Southeast, we have the poultry that usually heads the list, and you can see it there with our top two crops. You can see the diversity. Greenhouse and nursery used to be second on our list of cash commodities. I believe it is recovering from the recession and recovering pretty nicely. Cattle and calves, typical Southeastern operation, a lot of stocker operations and cow-calf sending them out west. Acreage-wise, soybeans still, probably like most, the largest land mass crop that we have. And then cotton and corn, some of our traditionals. So South Carolina is probably pretty traditional in our crop mix. For being a small state, we have relatively, from the coast to the Midlands of the state to the mountains, you'll see a diversity within that region with the larger operations, row crop operations down near the I-95 corridor. Move to the central part of the state, it's a mixture, fruit and veg, our primary peach area in that sandy ridge, sandy land. You move upstate, you get into the cow-calf operations, smaller operations, great growing organic presence there in the foothills. Like Commissioner Adams said, our agribusiness industry is the largest in South Carolina. If you combine ag and forestry, we're just under $42 billion of annual impact, over 210 or so thousand jobs, about 9% of South Carolina's economy. And we have used that message with our state leadership to invest more in this industry. Been successful, began a few years back with emphasis on marketing. All of us now have a state branding program, which we do as well, called Certified South Carolina. Then we put an emphasis on economic development around agriculture. Right at 25,000 farms. We are, again, a small state, about 5 million acres in agricultural land. There's our exports, same as others, do some to South America, as you can see. We do a little bit to Cuba. I think our last numbers were $3 million annually, so very small, but we'd have a small presence. We have our challenges. Again, I spoke about being a traditional state, trying to get our farmers to look at diversifying a little bit more. We do have a water issue that seems to be lingering in South Carolina with surface water and soon to be groundwater, balancing out agriculture, commercial use, residential, with just the environmentalist community that wants to see very little change. So that's an ongoing. Then the same as you'll hear, having a voice with that 99% of the population that does not produce food for a living, getting those messages as to how the viability of this industry impacts their lives every day. And again, starting with the gatekeepers of opinions, be it in the legislature, be it in the social media world. So we're trying all of these same methods probably that all my colleagues are.